Hey everyone, this is Moby's Primal, and I am back with another Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report. The opponent that I'm playing here he's a relatively new player. He hasn't played Warhammer Fantasy for, I think he said 14 years. So this is his second game in 8th edition, and the last time he played before that was in 2nd edition. So, relatively new gamer, still learning the ins and outs of 8th, and I've agreed to teach him the game as far as from a rules-based standpoint, but not so much from a strategy standpoint, because in the past, far too often have I found myself teaching players all the tricks of the trade, and then I actually talk myself out of victories. So that's it. This is a 24-point game battle line. Let's get it on. Starting from the Heartless left flank, you have my fast cavalry, then my 11 knights, joined by Delita, my character, unit of archers, and the new trebuchet. Zooming in on Delita here, I decided to give him a little flair. Since he's taken the mantle of Damsel Elena, I decided to give him a mantle, and since he's very lion-based, I took the bit from the lion chariot for high elves and put that on there, just to make him stand out a little bit more. I thought that was kind of cool. And then this is it was a virgin trebuchet a couple of games ago against ogres and vampires, and now I've got that bad boy painted up, and it's painted in a red motif, so that kind of breaks it apart from the blue motif of my original trebuchet. Move along into the center. I have basically my big battle line: archers, men-at-arms, Grail or honor guard, and then the second men-at-arms unit joined by Sam, who's going to pop the icon on them. Trebuchet in the back, knights or Pegasus knights on the far flank, and then the second unit of fast cavalry. Going down my opponent's ranks from left to right, he has a rather peculiar 9-man unit of Chaos Hounds that actually have taken the poison attack upgrade. He has that's a regular Tuskor chariot. Then he has 6 Ungor Raiders. Those are actually the old Battle Masters Marauder Archers, if anybody remembers that game from way back when. Then he has a small unit of 6 Furies, and then that's actually a Gorgon. What a appropriate model for something that was back in 2nd edition. That's actually like a Slanesh Bull or something like that model. Then looking further down my opponent's line, he has a small unit of Minotaurs, 4 Minotaurs there. They have hand weapon shield. Then he has his general is the Doom Bull back there. He's got, he's got the Brass Cleaver, the Ram Horn Helm, and the Armor of Destiny, plus the gift that gives him a 5+ Scaly Skin. So he's a 2+ armor save guy that gets an extra attack for every armor save he makes, with a 4+ ward save, and he also gets a bonus attack for everybody that he's touching. So pretty darn nasty. And then he has a Beast Gore, War Gore BSB there. I don't think he has any of these, just hand weapon shield and heavy armor. Then he has a large unit of Gore that have extra hand weapons. And then he has 2 mages in there. Those 2 metal models up front are actually his mages. One is a level 2 Beast Mage, and one is a level 1 Lore of the Wild Mage. And I don't know which one's which. One of them has got Slug Trail, something that everybody that's touching me takes a strength 3 hit in close combat, and the other guy doesn't have anything. Then he has a small unit of 10 Ungor guys, and then on the far right he's got a rather large unit of Bestigors. So I actually pray, and then my opponent surprises me and says, "You know what? I want to see what you're going to do." So he actually gives me the first turn. So I basically move all my infantry up, but I move my cavalry back because I totally was expecting him to move either left or right with his Gorgon and Chariot, and that's what I want to hit with my Knights and my Heroic Killing Blow General. So they move back to kind of play safety because I really don't know what to do with them. And then nothing in magic, but shooting sees the first kills of the game. My trebuchet lands and kills, I think, like 8 of these Gore models, so not a terrible way to start off the game. So here's a look from the other side of the tabletop as we go into Beastmen turn 1. On the right flank, he basically kind of bottlenecks himself up with his skirmishing and monster units, and then puts his dogs and his chariot, so they put my fast cavalry in check, but they're not within range, an easy chargeable range of my general and the knight unit. The Minotaurs, I hope this is a learning game, because my opponent was afraid of my trebuchet, so he didn't want to. You saw the Gorgon kind of taking cover back there, but that's not going to stop my trebuchets from firing. They've got to get their charges fast forward to get past my archer lines, which isn't difficult, and into my trebuchets to kill them. So the Minotaurs actually didn't march, they just kind of waddled up at a regular pace. And the same thing with all these other infantry units. You see the Doom Bull took cover behind that rock. The Gores basically just moved up a little bit, and then his His Bestigor, well, I had parked my fast cavalry out of line of sight, and he decided to just shuffle to the left so that he can see them next turn. Okay, well, this is a terribly angled picture, but you can just barely see on the right. He actually had a skirmishing unit of some more Ungor Raiders, archers, and then on the other side he had another unit of just Ungor, normal Ungor guys, and they came in and they shot up one of my fast cavalry. But other than that, not much going on. We move into Heartless 2, and I start to spring my my honor guard guys forward, and I put them at an angle because I know that they'll be stubborn. Hopefully the gore will charge, get stuck on them, and then I'll have a nice counter charge with my men-at-arms. And this isn't an ogre unit like you've seen in my past 2 or 3 games where it's just like, yeah, I got the flank, but I still got my butt kicked. You know, gore are relatively manageable since it's a little bit of older book, and you know some of the things are more in tune with how Bretonnia fights. Here's a shot. You see the Ungors that came in. They were ambushed, and it kind of breaks my heart to back my Pegasus Knights up. But I know that they can't take the Bestigor as is, so I back them up so I could just get some free points here, kill those Ungor, which not terribly too much of a problem. Meanwhile, my fast cavalry, they swing in behind the Bestigor so they can get some pot shots onto the other Ungor unit. Hopefully, kill a couple, cause panic check. They flee through Gore units and stuff like that, and just start causing mayhem throughout the Beastmen lines. During the magic phase, I double stacked Wyson's Wild Form on my Honor Guard. Both my mages got that spell off. So now my Honor Guard are Strength 5, Toughness 5, Hatred and Stubborn with the Blessing Ward save if those Gore decide to charge in. So really deterrent on those guys coming in. We go into shooting phase, and my archers light up these Minotaurs. I mean, they're in no real threat to damage me, so you know, I just start shooting away, kill, I think, one guy and do a wound on another one. And then also my trebuchet shot and landed smack dab on the chariot, and then, no kidding, I rolled a 1. So that's kind of a letdown, but here's a look at the table. I'm not in a terribly bad position. I'm kind of surrounded with ambushing units, but nothing I can't handle. And things are kind of standoffish, so my archers and trebuchets can still have some time to whittle the enemy out. Beastmen turn 2. Things start moving up into the center line, and this is going to be too much for my archers to handle. He has a lot of good battery units. My fast cavalry, I know, can't take those Furies if I charge in the flank because they just have so many attacks. And then, you know, even if I do kill those guys overrun, I'm going to hit a Gorgon who's going to beat the crap out of me. The dogs kind of move up. I think they're just trying to peel the knights away. Meanwhile, the archers, move to the side of the knights to get some pot shots on them. And his battle line, he doesn't want to charge the honor guard because they're so strong and tough for this round, so he'll just wait that out. And everything else just kind of shuffles around, not moving forward, so just give me more time to shoot. And then his other ambushing Ungor unit basically says, you know what, we fear you. We fear your Pegasus Knights, we're just going to hold you up for a turn. In the magic phase, the level 2 Beast Mage Irresistible forces a Wyson's Wild Form on his Gore unit, which I'm okay with because I'm not planning to charge, but he does lose 2 levels. He was a level 2 mage, so now he's a level 0 guy. We're going into Heartless turn 3. The battlefield looks like this, and now it's time to start declaring charges and cleaning some of these riffraff units up. My Pegasus Knights charge into the Ungors. My fast cavalry charge into the Ungor here. You know, I'm hoping, again, I didn't do any wounds with shooting, but I'm hoping that I can break this unit and cause some panic checks and make those guys flee off the table. And then my knights just charge this weird lance of hounds to kill them off. Back in the center, my infantry, my honor guard angles up even further onto the Gore. My men-at-arms are moving in onto the right flank so they can get a flank charge next turn, and then the left-hand unit is setting themselves up so they can receive the charge from what's left of the Minotaurs and possibly the Gorgon. Then back here, since I knew that the fast cavalry can't take any of those things in the center, I really want to save the trebuchet, so they move in front of the Ungor Raiders, and then for their trouble, that trebuchet decides to misfire, kill a guy, and turn itself around. And then because I'm an idiot, I decide to shoot at those skirmishers, and you know, needing 6s to hit and then 4s to wound, I managed to kill off 2 guys. They passed their panic check, but now they're open to the flank charge here, or not the flank charge. They're open to the charge on the trebuchet. So that was a bonehead move because what I wanted him to do was basically, you know, the trebuchet is pretty immune to strength 3 bows. But if he charged the fast cavalry, that would have been a front charge, probably kill them, overrun, and if he hits the knights, that's fine. Deleted will just make way and kill those guys. Hand-to-hand combat sees one knight die to a poisonous dog, but otherwise they get beat because of all the strength 5. They flee, and I restrain pursuit so I can face the center, and anything that comes in through there, I can countercharge with the knights. The Pegasus deal 9 wounds to a 10-man unit. The last guy flees, and since he's a standard bearer, he dies, so they don't have to overrun or anything like that. And then also the fast cavalry up there, they do quite a bit of damage, but not enough to break steadfast because the Doom Bull is nearby. They hold, so that's not a good position for them, but it could be worse, I guess. We're looking at the tabletop going into Beastmen 3, and he connects a handful of charges here. The Furies charge in onto the Archers here, who manage a wound on stand shoot. The Minotaurs charge into the men-at-arms here in the center, but unfortunately that Gorgon failed his charge. I think he needed like a 6 or 7, and he rolled 1 less than he needed, so he fails a charge. And then the Gore charge into the Honor Guard. The Doom Bull that was hanging out back there, he was facing a rock, and he wasn't allowed to wheel twice, so he couldn't get in there on the flank there. The battle between the Gore and the Honor Guard, I'm feeling okay with. Last magic phase, I was able to buff him up with 1 Wyson, so Strength 4, Toughness 4, Hatred with ward saves. I'm feeling, you know, I probably won't win the combat, but maybe I can snipe a mage or 2. None of the magic in his phase is terribly effective because his level 1 mage is in combat, and his only spell is that move units closer thing. So we go to hand-to-hand. My archers absolutely beat the crap out of these Furies. They completely whiffed out because that fence makes them -1 to hit in the first round. Makes my archers -1 to hit in the first round. And then I go to town with 9 attacks and kill 4 guys. And then what's even better is when they flee, I pass my restraint roll even though I'm way out of range of my BSB, so my archers don't even have to move and lose their stakes. Then up here with the meaty units, the Beastmen, they do okay. They kill like 2 or 3 guys. Which is, I kind of expected that with my buff. I got lucky, and I put all my attacks into the mages there. I did 1 wound to one of them, and the other one I outright killed. So, worth it in my eyes. Unfortunately, the little hand-to-hand that we had with those Ungors and my archers saw those guys flee off, and I think he killed 1 or 2, and then I think I lost 1 to woods or something like that. So, he failed his restraint, pursued the archers, or the fast cavalry, and now he's kind of in this weird position in front of his Bestigors. And keep this photo in mind as to where my men-at-arms down at the very, very bottom of that shot are in relation to those Ungor, because it's going to come into play here in a second. We move on to Heartless turn 4, and I declare a charge. Remember what I said, those men-at-arms declare a charge against the Ungor. The Ungor decide to flee, which puts them passing through this Bestigor unit. So they have to take a panic check, and they flunk it, and the closest enemy model is that fast cavalry unit. So they flee from that guy, go towards the Gore line, and then my men-at-arms pass their redirection check, and they're just barely within range to charge that Bestigor unit, so they declare a charge there, and since they're already fleeing, they have to flee again, and they go off the table, and I have just killed a Bestigor unit without rolling a single die in close combat. They fail their charge, and they get into a terrific position to flank charge the Gore next turn. Aside from that, my knights charge the the archers there, those skirmishing archers who declare flee. I was hoping he would hold there because it was going to let me kill those guys and overrun into that chariot. And the Gorgon was a little bit further away than I really hoped, but I passed my redirection and declared a charge against the Gorgon, and we didn't realize it, but that guy is actually immune to psychology, but he fled. We didn't realize it till later. We go into hand-to-hand, and last round my men-at-arms kill a Minotaur, and now we're kind of into Duke mode. I keep losing both of these combats, the Minotaurs and the Men-at-Arms, and also the Gore versus the Honor Guard, but I keep staying steadfast either because I have more ranks or I'm stubborn. So, feeling okay in both those fights. I'll win through attrition. This shot down here, I forgot to take a couple pictures. Because my opponent is new, he doesn't really see the value of all the values of every unit. Remember, I said I was cursing myself because I shot those skirmishers, and that basically opened up the charge to the trebuchet. Well, I guess he just sees them as a shooting only unit, and he decided to shoot my fast cavalry instead of charging the trebuchet. So then in my turn, I charged him and then killed him, even though I lost a couple of guys. So You know, it's a learning lesson. It's one of those things where I was like, you know, I said I would teach him the rules, but I wouldn't teach him how to win. He's got to learn that on his own. And, you know, if I had said, well, you know, you could stand there and shoot, but you could charge the trebuchet, then I'd be in a bigger world of hurt. But, you know, now he'll have to learn that for next time. So we're going into, this is Beastmen turn 4, I believe. And there's not a whole lot to do. A lot of the units that are fleeing rally, and the Doom Bull charges into the flank of my dwindling Honor Guard unit. And basically, we go to hand-to-hand combat instantly, and this is actually the shot of after hand-to-hand combat. And you see my men-at-arms are finally finishing off the Minotaur unit, but I'm getting really, really low in those guys. And the Doom Bull, while he's super, super dangerous, he charges in, and he can't, you know, beat that whole unit on his own in one round. And I'm holding my own as far as killing a few gore here and there, and you know, I believe at this point I've already killed off both of his mages. So we go into Heartless 5. My men-at-arms do charge the flank there, and here I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling okay. I should be able to win in a round or two. My knights are out of range for everything, and I really, really don't want to get charged by that Tuskor chariot in the flank. So instead of failing a charge, I just kind of move those guys up, and then hope for a charge to connect something in turn 6. In Magic, Sam there miscast the Weisson's Wild Form, and she loses 2 levels, so she's now a level 2 or level 0 mage. But at least I got the buff off on those men-at-arms in the flank. It's going to help me to really dwindle the numbers of those gore and maybe win combat. Unfortunately, in combat, the Doom Bull is just too darn tough. He's beating the crap out of that Honor Guard unit, and his combat res is outwitting everything that I can do as far as static goes. So he actually wins, but both my units stick because I'm steadfast or stubborn. And we go into Beastmen turn 5. Here's a look at the table. And those Ungor that had panicked earlier, or they had fled earlier, come in and charge the flank of the men-at-arms. And the Gorgon finally connects a charge against, or finally gets into combat, connects a charge against this very, very small men-at-arm unit that the Minotaurs have been beaten on all game. In hand-to-hand combat, the men-at-arms take a few casualties. They dish out quite a bit to the Gore, not so much to the Ungor, and then my Honor Guard is depleted down to just the urn, and it's got 3 wounds on it. Again, I think I've lost combat every single round this entire battle, but I've held fast because my BSB Ajor is there. We go into turn 6 for Bretonia, and you know, this is the last turn, so I go for a broke. My knights charge the final Minotaur, but they fail the charge and don't get there. I think they needed a 10, and I rolled a 9, so that's kind of a bummer. My Pegasus Knights charged the flank here. Really not sure what I was thinking. Hopefully maybe a charge bonus or something like that. But really I'm hoping to wipe out that whole unit. And then I rebuffed the Weisson's Wild Form with Elliot. That's my foot on mage there. Or mage on foot there. The Trebuchet, maybe I can get a lucky shot and kill one of these monsters and get all the points for it. I landed smack dab on the Gorgon, and of course I roll a 1. So I think I got like 4 wounds on him from just attacks and shooting and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the second time this game that I've shot Trebuchets, hit it on something big like a monster, and rolled a 1 to wound. So I think all in all, my Trebuchets have killed 8 gore is all. Hand-to-hand combat. The men-at-arms, I think the Pegasus completely whiffed. Did 0 wounds. Of course, I've only got 1 guy in combat there, but they did nothing. And then the men-at-arms decide to clean up everything. They kill all the gore or the Ungor on the side, and they kill like 4 or 5 gore in front of them. The Doom Bull kills the Honor Guard unit there, so his flank. And, well, I guess his flank just doesn't matter. My charge and flank doesn't matter because those guys aren't in combat. So all that matters is the wounds done and the static combat res between the Gore and the men-at-arms. And that sees me win combat by 6. So the Gore break, and when they flee, they do so at an angle that sees the men-at-arms charge that Doom Bull. Right in time for the final turn of the game, Beastmen 6... The Gorgon decides he's going to try and kill the Trebuchet because if he tries to go against the archers, he's afraid he'll get shot to death and then beat the crap out of because what they did earlier, I guess. But he fails his charge, so he's going to stick there. And then in hand-to-hand combat, the Bull only does like 3 wounds to my men-at-arms, and I managed to do 1 on him. I win combat by quite a bit, but then he throws a pair of 1s to hold. So at the end of the game, massive Heartless victory. That chariot on the left had given me pause the entire game and held up my knights, so to the point where all they did all game was kill a small unit of dogs. But because of careful positioning and, you know, admittedly some of the noobism of my opponent, I was able to win this battle with pretty much just mage supporting men at arms. Overall, fun game. That's the battle report. Hope you enjoyed it.